Hello, well, the Fish Fingers and Custard Explosion Networks after show for Doctor Who, where we break down and discuss each and every episode of the show. My name's Blight, and joining me, Ashley Holman.
Hey, Nolan, excited to be here from planet Earth.
I used to be from there, but I can no longer get home to my time and planet. But we'll get to that.
Mr. Dylan Blight.
Yeah, I'm stuck on Mr. Dumblight. This week we are discussing the Robot Revolution, which is the premiere episode of, I wrote it down here somewhere to note, it is the premiere episode of Season 41, Season 15, or Season 2. Just because I continue to not be frustrated that that's a thing we have to... Anyway, it's Season 2.
Just everybody commits to the same thing.
I think we're
There's
just
all these...
to
2005 reboot, 2005 reboot people just holding on for dear life. Don't want to move on.
Yeah, no, we're moving on. Season 2. It's episode 1 of Season 2. It is what it is, but it's still very funny to me. So this episode we introduce a new companion. Introduces the fragments of the story that'll be continuing throughout this season.
Mm-hmm.
Was a pretty, I think, for the most part, what you'd expect from a Russell T Davies premiere episode for a season, in that, like, it's sort of pretty mostly lighthearted-ish, or, you know, it didn't have like any. I don't know. It felt like a very Russell T Davies like premiere, if that makes some sense. Without going too deep into the new companion yet, which we'll get to in a sec, what were your overall thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, I think it was a solid episode. It just, maybe based on the kind of content we've been watching lately, it was just like, bam, back to Doctor Who, super friend, like fun, quirky, sci-fi family fun, with like some cheesy moments and some silly reveals and play on stuff, and I mean, it was a fun episode. I mean, it's definitely not my favorite like companion introduction episode or anything. So, but they've clearly got a plan that they're setting in motion for this season. That they definitely set up with this episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's the general storyline with the robots and whatever was, for most episodes, I was like, yeah, this is like okay. Like, I wasn't super into it and wasn't loving I wasn't loving it. I was just like, this is pretty what I was expecting for a new companion, like, sort of introductory episode. I will say though, once we got to like reveal of like where the story was going and everything like that, towards the end of the episode, I was like, how wild is it that at the moment everyone's like frothing adolescents on
any opportunity to make fun of incels? We'll talk about incels. They're taking it.
It's just so like, they're like, yeah, this Stephen Graham, like, oh, fucking Adeline's TV show, everyone's like, it's great. Yep, incels, terrible. And then Doctor Who's like, you know what? I know that the show's targeted at kids, but you know what? Still, what? Planet of the Incel. I was like, when the episode started, it was her as a teenager, like, talking to that guy. I was like, this dude sucks, obviously. Like, where are we going to go with this? And then maybe 15, 20 minutes into the episode, I was like, not expecting him to come back. I just thought it was going to be like some weird thing where like that was just who she got it from, and it's like ties her to a negative part of her life, or I don't know, something like that, whatever. But when it was him and he was just, I was like, oh, I can't believe
Dylan. It was not the great AI.
Yeah, it was a great.
It was Al.
Al.
Nobody looked that close as what was.
Yeah, there's a little,
the line at the bottom of what they thought was an eye.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that was, to me, to be honest, was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. But I mean, the rest of the episode is, like, it starts, let's to retract a bit, I guess. It starts with that scene where we're introduced to Al and fuck, what's her name? I already forgot.
Belinda
Chandra.
Chandra.
Belinda Chandra, thank you. Yeah, I forgot last name. Belinda Chandra. Then we skip ahead. She's now a nurse of some sort. How many companions are nurses at this point? Like, or doctors, or like some, or training, or like, it's at least a couple now, right? I feel like that's the most common
Not
job
during
type.
this era?
Yeah, maybe not during this era. Maybe old, yeah. And then she leaves work. We see the doctor arrive in the TARDIS, chasing around looking for her. Knows trying to chase her, can't find her. He had a little funny quip, I think, which is that, she walks past someone as she's going to leave, and someone's like, "A doctor's looking for you." I thought it was a funny line. She's like, "Oh, doctor's always looking for me." Sort of thing.
Yeah.
She goes home. She's living in a share house.
The doctor depowers the entire hospital by accident.
Yeah,
killing hundreds of people.
Yeah. That's very good.
On life support.
Yeah. I was like, I hope he turned that shit straight back on. Because he's like, "Oh, whoops, sorry." I was like, yeah, you don't be sorry. Just
fix it.
Yeah, just turn it back on. People literally need us to breathe currently. She goes home. She's living in a share house together. You get not idea of like great relationship because she's getting yelled at for making noise, even though she's obviously working like night shifts, and you got people just but also just a sign of current times. You got three people living in one house, obviously don't like each other, but rent's high, housing prices are high. Vote for the robots come smashing through a door though while she's looking for food to eat that doesn't stink like rotten cheese. These robots, what do you reckon they're just like very, I don't know if it was purposely done. It's just like, let's just go for the most like generic ass looking like 70s, 80s like robot design sort of. Even the guns they have are like the
Hitchhiker's Guide to the End of the World.
Yeah.
That's the word. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Because even the
very
big,
big, bulky,
guns are like just bulky guns with like laser beams, like they got faces. That's the only thing. So they do.
What
have
if
faces
they wanted to make Warhammer 30K Space Marines?
Yeah,
family friendly.
Yeah, I mean it's probably fair to be honest. They come for her. They tell her that she's a queen, and they go upstairs, find her certificate thing that she was given to by Al, which I would like to know why she's even kept
in a frame.
Like the certificate he gives her, we see in the start.
I mean, it makes sense earlier in the episode, where she's like, "Oh, she moved away." It's like, "Oh, maybe it was like a boyfriend that she like, the one that got away," and she kind of keeps it as a memento. But then you find out later, she dumped him like 10 minutes after.
Yeah. So like, why the fuck does she have this thing in a frame? I'm very confused.
Plot.
Yeah, that was that's the number one thing that just bothered me about this episode. I'm like, why? Like, could all of this have been stopped and ignored if she just not kept that like
she
really
had thrown it out.
Toxic, weird ex-boyfriend from her when she was a teenager and thrown it out. Yeah, very odd. But anyway, we'll choose to carry on for the sake of
not getting bogged down in this one point.
Yeah. Yep. So then she's the robots are like, "We're taking you." She's like, "Great." That's like, we get a whole thing with Mrs. Flood in this episode. So she still exists. I'm just a bit confused now. So she's moved. Yeah, that's the other thing. Because obviously but this is the thing now, right? Automatically my brain goes, okay. She somehow knows who the Doctor's companions are, or they're going to be. Because she's living next to them when they're
she's some kind of fourth wall breaking entity that is,
made for a funny scene though, when she's like walking out with her, and then oh my god, what's going on, all that stuff, and then she's like, "Please tell my parents," all this sort of stuff.
It's funny because anybody else
would be freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, would be freaking the fuck out, but because she is not freaked out by it.
No, because she's just like this, weird,
asking all these questions, like, "Oh, tell my mom."
Yeah. And there's something when she goes, at the end, she gets in and she goes, "Good luck, dearie," or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally fair. And then she looks towards the camera and says, "I was never here," or something.
Yeah, something like that. When the Doctor does her
fourth wall break there. So that's their moment.
Yeah. which was good because I was like 90% sure that it was her, but then that fourth wall break.
As soon as I saw her, like that.
All old white ladies look the same to me.
No, that's outrageous. You never. Yeah, that's actually outrageous. How do we feel about Mrs. Flood? Like, how long is this carrying on? This story. What are we doing here?
I don't know. Maybe to the end of the season. Maybe another one. It just depends. Maybe this will be an ongoing thing through Russell Davies' entire run. All culminating into her being the big bad. Not likely.
She was the master all along.
She's one of those fourth dimensional beings. Like, I think it's pretty clear.
I mean, that feels based on the special, obviously, with what happened there and the connection and whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like she's one of them beings. But what would she be called? The
don't know.
The fourth wall? I don't know. Like, what are we?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find
eventually. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I expect to see her before the season's up again, I assume, but not towards the end of the season. Yeah. So then she's taken while she's like going up in the spaceship. Belinda's like, "Oh, this is blah blah blah. Like it's all Al. You should have taken him." Now there's a whole Alan's fault. You should have taken him. There's a whole weird thing where they go through like the
Disney
camera
Plus
and everything freaks out.
Glitching.
Yep. Disney Plus started glitching. Yep. Which we find out later is because they have a time. What do they call it? A time break.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Time break. Yeah. So they're going through this, and then. Not to jump ahead, but what she says there becomes important because it's actually what causes them to go get him. So arrives on the planet. They're like, "Yep, you're the queen of this place." It's literally
Time
just
Rift.
called
I think
Time Rift. Though
is what Wikipedia is saying.
We'll go with Wikipedia. It's never wrong. So she's taken up the robot's like, "Yep, you're the queen of this planet called Belinda Chandra."
Miss Belinda Chandra, yeah.
Miss Belinda Chandra, yep. Take her up to Big Queen. Up there, you've got all these humans in brown, wearing the same brown clothes. Very like, yep, they're all slaves to the robots. Yep. She's got a little queen place to sit. They're like, yep, we're gonna turn you into a robot. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this.
You're gonna get married. To the AI generator.
Yep.
The AI generator, the terrible force that's working against everybody. You're all oppressing humans everywhere for what they want to do.
I don't think this story has any, like, at no point does anything in this story have any political or social ideologies from Russell T Davies at all. I think there's none in here.
Yeah, definitely not doing it very heavy-handedly.
Nothing going on here at all. The kids are watching like, AI is bad, Mum. Russell T Davies is like, I won. That's all I needed. I did find though something about, like, I guess just because the conversion thing or whatever, I was like, okay, so it's like, I mean, can't help but think about Cybermen, obviously, to a degree.
Yeah.
Not that, obviously the story goes a little bit different, but it's just the robotinizing of someone, I guess.
Will be merged, yes.
Yeah. Now, we see the doctors in this room, the throne room, I guess we're going to call it, which is weird because when she left Earth, he was like chasing her, doesn't know where it is, and now he's ahead of them somehow, and you're like,
he's become the historian of the planet.
Yeah, a bit confused. So, but he's called upon to talk to her to explain the history of the planet, which he does, but also reveals that every ninth word the robots cannot hear for some reason. I don't think it's ever explained why, but just cause. So he's able to tell her I mean, honestly, didn't really need to tell her. Like, he's like, oh, revolution, rebels fighting back robots, as he's explaining that the robots, whenever they took over the planet and whatever else. When revolution happened now, and then they all start shooting one another anyway. I'm like, well, I mean, they could just had that happen at any point, and he could just grab her, but it's fine. Makes for a bit. I guess it's important towards the end of the episode for reasons. That was a big shit. A lot of people die. Hey, like straight up humans getting disintegrated everywhere in this episode. Very violent. premiere episode of Doctor Who. You know, a lot of death, including the friend that the Doctor had, Sasha 55.
Who was going to be the new companion?
Yep. I mean, it sounded like it.
That's what he promised.
Yeah. Yep. So met her, but in the 6 months we find out that the Doctor's been there. He arrived there. He's like integrated into the humans on this planet. Met this Sasha 55. You can tell they have a great relationship. She's like, after we do this, Doctor, you're going to take me adventures in space and all this sort of stuff.
Show me
He's
the
like,
stars.
yep, we're definitely going to do that. And I'm like, you're about to die. And then they run and she dies. So yeah, I wasn't shocked. So Doctor escapes with Belinda and I don't know, like 2 other people, I think, back to wherever they like teleport to somewhere where they're like sort of safe and hiding out. And while there, you get I think up to this point I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I was like watching it, but I wasn't super like seeing a lot from the character at this point, Belinda. But I think once she got to this place, I think seeing her, they do a lot of like subtle storytelling to help separate her and like make her stand out, which is that she stands up for herself at any point, like someone, which I thought was good. Like she has no bullshit. She won't take shit at shit. You know, people are trying to say like this is that one dude who's like, yeah, it's all this sort of stuff. She's ready to throw her hands, you know. She's ready to throw her hands. She goes around to, as soon as she gets there, she's not completely freaked the fuck out. She's not like if on the scale of companions freaking the fuck out, you've got like, I guess her up here currently and like Donna's down here, you know, like as far as
they were at the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, as far as like acceptance of being the fact that you're on a different planet and there's aliens and all these sorts of things, like she's definitely more of the up here compared to, I guess, Donna's the opposite end of that scale. Yeah, but the fact that like she starts looking around this rebel area straight away, checking on people, she starts, you know, asks the Doctor, "Hey, is the basically the human and the human bodies like the same as Earth?" And he's like, "Yeah, very similar." Starts like put someone's hand, resets or whatever it was, like wrist was broken or some shit, I can't remember. But like does something, and then you have a cool moment where he like pulls up this blanket and it's like an X-ray blanket, and then the Doctor puts it on himself and shows her that she's got 2 hearts, which doesn't freak her out, but I guess it's just her medical mind inquisitively wants to know more. Actually just listens to it and finds it very interesting. So I think all of this is like helps build up the type of person that she is, you know, like she straight away wants to help people, but she won't take any shit, but she's not super freaked out. And I'll come back to more of this because I think the most interesting stuff for her characters at the end of the episode. But yeah, so then she decides to basically she calls on the robots because they're all going to get hunted and killed, and
because old mate is guilt tripping her and gaslighting her into believing it's all her fault, even though she just got there, dude.
Yeah. He's like,
she didn't do anything except sit on a throne.
Got kidnapped and brought there, but yeah, the stupid blonde-haired white dude.
Typical,
you know. Yeah, guilt trips her. So basically robots come in, blast everyone. She's like, "I'll go with you. Just let everyone up and live." And the Doctor's like, "No, don't." And you know, anyway, she goes, of course. Doctor takes after. They go find they get brought down to the machine where Al is, and this is where we have the whole reveal play out, where it's, you know, it's this big AI thing, but then opens up on the inside, and we see Al is in there. He was brought to the planet because basically because of that time. What did you say? Wikipedia says time rift. The time rift that when she was in it, on the way there, going through it, and says, "No, you should get him. It's him." And then like that fractures through time. And then they end up going back in time and getting him and bringing him there first. But they brought him there like well before anything happens, and he's actually the cause of the whole robot revolution thing because he's brought there, and then he
thinks it's a video game.
Yeah, he thinks it's because he's a fucking idiot. And he's like, "Oh, a whole world where I can do whatever I want. That's great." And then the first time a human like says anything to him or questions him at all, he's like, "Yeah, robots shoot him." So then now it's robots versus humans. Basically, is yeah, how that plays out. And then
then he just covered him in self in metal for reasons.
I guess because he was brought there like years and years, like I don't know. Technically, he shouldn't be alive. I think he was like
Oh, okay, yeah. I hadn't
pretty
thought
sure
about
like
it
he
that
was.
way. Like,
I'm pretty sure
as if it was
he's.
brought centuries ago or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was brought like centuries because in the like history thing that the historian says, I'm pretty sure he says like it's hundreds of years or something. I don't know, like it's a while. Yeah. So he's like looks like the fucking goblin. I don't know, like, missing half his body, got a messed up face, crazy looking dude. But he's basically like, yeah. Anyway,
He's like, what if the Tin Man had joints?
Yeah, but no legs.
Yeah.
He's just topless. He's just he's top. He doesn't have any legs. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, basically, he's big old incel. He's the whole thing is that he's just like that girl who rejected me because then they do a flashback to after the scene we saw at the start of the episode where he's like, and you know what I reckon, Belinda? You should stop going out after 8:00, and you shouldn't be texting these people, and you shouldn't do this because it's bad for you. And she's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then years later, he's like, well, that's it. I'll get revenge finally.
Yep.
I'll get the girl who didn't like me. Yep. And then at that point, everyone watching's like, well, hopefully realizes like it's just incel the episode.
And then I have to say it out loud. Yeah.
Yep. Which I'm fine with. I think it's pretty funny.
I mean, it is pretty funny.
Right.
Anything making fun of incels is funny.
Yeah. To be honest. I'm not at the stage where I'm like, man, we have too many TV shows pointing out that incels are bad, and we've accepted this culture of them, even though
it's acceptable. Yeah,
yeah, even though they're all the ones that are serial killers, like,
yeah,
fucking shooting up schools and whatever else. Let's let's not pretend it's okay. But yeah, and then for some reason, when they touch posters, it causes the time fracture.
Yeah, because like in all time travel stuff, if two things are kind of
exist
two exact
things,
which
she mentions earlier in the episode at some point, I think.
Yeah,
right.
She's watched a lot of time travel movies. You know?
Yeah, which good for she's culture.
They explode. So
yeah, so they explode. There's a whole like pretty cool scene where they're all.
The Doctor absorbs the blow and sees her lifetime, I guess.
Yeah, past and future. Yeah, something like
that. Yeah, and he's able to save her, but not Alan.
Yeah, he turns into a minuscule peck on the floor and then is cleaned up.
He reverts back to being a sperm and an egg.
Oh. That actually would make sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the cleaning robot.
Yeah.
He gets polished.
Polished. It's polished.
I look forward to us getting those type of robots.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Watch out, Rimbus.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I guess he was just sperm on the floor at that point.
Sperm and egg, as far back as you can go.
Yeah, as far back as you can go. I mean, he should be dead then. Like, you can't survive outside of like.
I mean, it just depends on when you believe conception life begins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, I think it's pretty funny that like
does life begin in conception? I don't think so. So
yeah. I think it's very funny that like the Doctor's like looking, he's like, oh, I think he's down there. This little jet of sperm on the floor, if that's what we're going for. This is definitely the funny.
This version of the Doctor definitely knows how to notice bits of sperm.
Also, some every time we go back to recording this podcast, I'm like, I always remember that. Like, I hope our target audience understands that it's like we're covering Doctor Who, the family TV show, but this podcast is definitely for the adults watching this. It's not for the kids. But yeah, so he's like staring at the thing, and then like after he's polished up, I just find it very funny that the Doctor's like, yeah, he's dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we have the whole scene that we've seen a million times where the Doctor says goodbye to the friends he's made on this new planet, and
they've renamed it Sasha 55.
Yeah, or just that place, not the whole planet, right? Just didn't show that center.
I think so. Yeah.
Thing? Yeah. And then we get the whole TARDIS scene. The odd thing here is Belinda already knows it's called the TARDIS, so I don't know what the fuck that was about, but
yeah, I think that was the time connection thing that they possibly went through. Maybe it's a little bit both ways.
Yeah, it feels like such a weird thing, not like as a writing error. I'm like, it cannot be a writing error.
Yeah.
Like that's such like how many scenes have we written about people like seeing the TARDIS for the first time? You wouldn't just write they know it's called the TARDIS.
Or maybe he mentioned the TARDIS when he said his spaceship. I don't know.
I don't know. I saw
it did feel a little bit weird and out of place when she said it though. Yeah.
It's weird. So I'm like just going to move past it. Yeah, and then we have the whole it's bigger on the inside, blah blah blah. But I think continuing what makes Belinda stand out is Ncuti was doing his doctor thing, running around. Yeah, well, yeah, like I'm fucking excited. Let me fucking steal your DNA, throw it on the wall.
Listen, there's this cool mystery because I met a far assistant from you.
Yeah,
which explains the actress's appearance the previous season.
Yeah, Monday something or other.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, in the excellent episode.
Yeah, the Steve Moffat one.
Yes,
the grenade.
Yeah, something like that.
Mine with the Minecraft.
Yeah, with the bomb. But she's. I don't think we've had one recently where the companion does not want to really be there.
No, that's the one.
They just want to go home.
Yeah. He's like, we got this whole thing. I've seen your history. Oh, you and me are tied together. We got so many adventures we should go on. And I'm going to fucking
figure all this out. It's going to be great.
All this out. And then she's like, excuse me, I don't want to do any of that. You cannot kidnap me. B, you just stole my fucking DNA without asking, which I think is like such a, just because she's a nurse, doctor.
Nurse, yeah.
Like that's such a it is like
violation, yes.
Violation thing. And just the like complete shutting him down. I'm like, you know what? I'm really into this companion. Like at this point, I'm like, it just feels so different it feels like so different to what we've had in any recent.
Like with Ruby Sunday, the Doctor and her were kind of on the same frequency.
Yeah. They're like, let's have fun. This is a good time. She's like, I like my life. I want to just go home. Just take me home.
Want to go back there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's definitely very interesting because usually, obviously, companion stories start with them being like, I want to get home and freak the fuck out, blah, 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 blah. And by the end of the episode, it's like, oh my God, this is great. And Time Machine, you can just take me back to before you take, right after you take me. So it's fine. I can go on these big adventures. She's like, I don't want to go on any big adventures. I just want to go home. I think it's very interesting. And just the fact that she shut the Doctor down to the point that he had to be like, I'm so sorry. You're all right. So intriguing, I think. After that, attempt to go home several times. Bouncing off it, I think, is the explanation we're given.
Yes.
He cannot go to whatever the date is, May 23rd or something like that, 2024, whatever, 2025, whatever.
May 2025. Whatever.
Yeah.
Assume around the time the season finale is.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. So they cannot go to that date. So at the end of the episode, they take off to go. He sets up. Doctor's like, "Oh, I'll get you home, but we got to go the long way around or something like that." So they take off, but then the camera pans out in the space they were hanging out, and there's just a lot of stuff floating in space. The Statue of Liberty, a bridge, a house, and most importantly, I guess the Eiffel Tower, and then the certificate again is floating there. What does it all mean, Ash?
The world ended right after they left that planet. Well, that seems to be the guess. That would be.
Does seem to be, doesn't it?
Yeah. I know.
So what's the long way around? Because next
he's going to do the same thing he did last at the Christmas special. He's going to go a year before and just wait it out.
Well, I don't know, because next week we're in like the 50s or something.
I guess he's just trying to get as close to the date first, and then
work it out from there or something like that. Yeah,
or he's going to go about doing what he wants, but pretend it's affected by the bouncing.
That's horrible. It'll definitely just make me like. We'll turn the Doctor into a villain this season.
He's like, we can't go there anyway, so we might as well just figure out what the mystery is. And also, probably the mystery is tied into why we can't go back to that date.
I am intrigued with this setup, I will say. Of her like trying to, them being bouncing off a certain time zone. I think, and having a companion who just wants to get home. I think that's an interesting setup for the season. Like, you've got someone who's going to come along on these adventures. Now, the only thing I'm hopeful is like that she understands that he's not lying to her and is actually trying to get her home, and not what you're saying, and that because or else you're just going to have it constantly being like not on board.
I'll just stay on the TARDIS the entire time. That's going to be boring.
So she has to at least accept next episode that yes, he's trying to get her there. There's some stuff that there's something going on, and we have to work it out, because next week there is it's the episode with Alan Cumming in it, who is playing Mr. Ring-a-Ding, which is the cartoon character that we saw in the trailer a couple weeks ago. Wild concept, but Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, so even that episode, like we're just going to spend, I don't know. Here's my question. Do we, like, and obviously I feel like the answer is probably yes, but are we just spending the whole season trying to get back to Earth? Like, because that's a long time to just be bouncing through, you know what I mean? Or do we get back to Earth?
I mean, technically, you get back to it next week.
Oh, well, sorry. Yeah. Are we getting back to Earth and the right time and date? You know, yeah. Like,
I think it will be like the majority of the season.
Okay. Yeah. It's just a long time to be bouncing around, isn't it? Now, when do we get Ruby back?
I don't know. That's the question. Like, how does she fit into this season at all? You know, based on that premise. You know, maybe we get snippets. Like, but this is such an episodic show. It's like,
well, I mean, yeah.
Maybe we get like a side episode where she's sort of trying to figure out, or she's like inside the bubble. Something's closed them off, or
what if? Because I'm pretty sure there's shots out there of her in the season. Like she's in the season. We know this. This is a fact. I don't think that's up for the debate. What if she's in it but never interacts with the Doctor? What if for the first time ever the show goes, we're gonna have another companion with the Doctor, but we're gonna cut back to the other companion and she's gonna be interacting with units.
Like in a B plot. Yeah.
In a B plot. Doctor Who's never really done that.
No, not really.
That could be interesting. Anything else before we wrap it up this week?
No, I mean, again, Trudy's really fun and enjoyable as the Doctor. Yeah. Good times. Looking forward to
good times. All right. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Fish Fingers Custard. Of course, you can check out all the other podcasts we have on explosionnetwork.com. If you would like to, the other thing that's starting this week, very different, and you need to be older. But that's it. If you're listening to this podcast and enjoying it, you're probably old enough. We'll be talking about The Last of Us Season 2 airing on, that starts now as well, on What Do You Want to Watch podcast. So you go check that out there. It's going to be a very weird few weeks where I'm watching Doctor Who, which is probably more lighthearted fun. And then a couple days later having to watch and talk about that. But anyway, that's life. That's what we're duoing. Sometimes we duo talk about different shows here, and they're odd mixed. But yeah, check out explosion.com, follow us on Blue Sky, explosion.com, and we'll be back here next week to talk about cartoons. Goodbye.